because it's going to be, because we've seen cloning once, like just a Rails project that had React in it. This one's going to be a tiny bit different, how we clone it down. So I'm going to make a directory week 4 and cd into there. Let me go ahead and find this repo. Okay. So yeah, this is it. There's our client folder. So we're just going to clone this down. So go ahead, if you're following along, throw this out in Slack. So run this command git clone, and then I'll paste this SSH link. So that's out in Slack. So then we can cd into that. I'm going to type these out in Slack. So let me kind of quiz you. What commands do you think we need to run?
Probably need to run a bundle.
Yeah, let's run bundle. Cool. What else?
DB create, DB seed.
Yeah, let's look at the DB create really quick. I'm going to run this. So this one already exists. Like I already have this database because we created this database on Friday. So my database lives on my computer. It doesn't live up on GitHub. So I already have this database. If you wanted to like reset it, I could do a Rails DB drop. That would destroy it. And then I could create it. I could remigrate it and seed it. I probably don't need to do that because it's probably already seeded, but this will just at least put it to where it was. So I'm kind of starting fresh. So I think that this works.
Do you need to remove the old origin and add a new one? If the new
Yeah, that would, yeah, that would be another good thing I could do. I'm not going to do it just because I'm going to just still leave this because this is the repo. But you would, like, if you wanted a repo of your own, you would definitely, yeah, you would want to do that. Git remote RM origin. So if I did a git remote -v, there's nothing there. And then you could go in and, to GitHub, create your own repo, and then clone it down, and then add that SSH link, which is just right here. So I'm going to put that back, git add, or git remote add origin, and then paste that. Does this step make sense?
I'm still, it says there's no such file, so I'm not sure why it's not going.
Which command? On bundle?
No, this was way further up on even git clone, and then after I did that, there was errors on it. So
Did anyone else get an error with that? I think that's the one I really like, copied that.
is it because I didn't have that already?
No, if you got an error on this git clone, it's either you copied and pasted it wrong or spelled something wrong, or
Oh, those aren't two separate commands. I'm not. Okay. My bad.
there's something wrong with your computer. So it's a syntax error. That's the better one. Cool. So
Yeah,
after-
it's
yeah,
okay.
after you clone it, then you CD into it, then you bundle and rails, ED drop. And this might be something you might want to throw into, like, you know, if you're taking notes somewhere, or like a Trello card, something like that, you know, maybe you get this down of how to clone something. You'll need to do that for the hackathon, because only one of you is going to be creating the repo and pushing up that initial push, and then the rest of you will clone down. And then, like, with the hackathon, you won't need to like remove the remote, because you'll all want to be pushing up to that same repository. What else do we need to do, or ideas? Remember, we have React in here, and we have like this JavaScript land part of this app. I'm going to split my pane. We need to go into our client. Remember, we already have this client directory. This is our, like, where we did, this is our React app. That's where we did yarn create React app client. So what do I need to do? Does anyone remember what I need to do for JavaScript to get it like going?
Should we add Axios? Or is that already gonna be in there?
We can go look, let's go into our code. Where would I look to see if I have this or not?
Package.json in client.
Go to my client and go to the package JSON. So yeah, this is like a yes and a no. We have Axios in our package.json. So it like knows to download it, but we actually haven't downloaded yet. So when you clone something and you have like a React app, you need to CD into client and you need to run yarn. Then that looks at the package.json. It sees what dependencies you have, and then it goes and downloads them. And then this is going to take a second. CD into client. This. No, in another pane. There's also something that I showed you earlier in the class, this DPL sheets. I do believe this has some references for this. But you can create your own. Let's see, this is the old way. There should be a newer way to do. Yeah, here's kind of some stuff set up for the, proxy. There's just a little helpers here. So I really recommend creating your own and using these as references. But if you write it out yourself, I think it's going to make it easier on you to do this. Then it's described in your own words.
Is the DPL sheets, are those Are those in the Slack for this too?
Yeah, so as I select these out, like these deep, I really recommend for some of these, you bookmark them. So you can grab this link, just like highlight it and then boom. Or like organize your stuff some way. And Trello is a good way to do that, like a Google Docs. There's a lot of resources. So having a way just to like easily access these things becomes more and more important. So that is done downloading. So to start, now we should be good. Now we should be able to start our server. And start our client. So I'm going to throw those in Slack too. Okay, and I'm just editing the Slack messages that have these commands. So yeah, we have our homes. We can go to our facts. That grabs our facts. Remember, we did the stars. We use that rating system or that star system, and we can even refresh. And it does remember, and it just comes back in updated at order. So if I do like 5G causes COVID, make that, 5 stars and refresh this, it should be saved. So that's a good way to remind yourself what you did, is just to like open up the app and see where it's at. It's also another good reason it's good to, when you quit working for the day, to leave your app in a working state. You never want to like leave yourself in like a broken state, or if you do, you're kind of documenting like what's wrong with it. Is this starting to come back now that you like see it? It's like, oh yeah, we did do this on Friday. Okay, but let's look at another way to kind of look at this, and that is through VS Code and through Git. So another way you could kind of do this is you come to this kind of node icon, and then we can go look at like our commits. And this is going to be a test. I wasn't intentionally trying to make good commit messages, but if I have good commit messages, it's going to help explain to me what I did, like through each step of the process. Like here's my init commit. There's all that stuff. I probably don't need to pay too much attention to that. Facts index. So I can go through and I can see, what did I do in each of these commits? It's like I added Axios, added this facts component that does the Axios call to get all my facts. Then I did React setup. Just did my fact.all. And then facts, I can just come through and look at my code really quickly. Like I have a fact component that has some styles, facts.js. And this might be more like when you start working, maybe you're looking at just kind of your latest commits. Like what was the last thing what did I did last time? Oh, it looks like I added this rate method in my app.css. I added the reset CSS, my fact.js. Oh yeah, this is where I added, the star example. Then looks like I did like an update function. So like the green, this green area, that's like stuff I added. The red is stuff I had like taken out.
Sorry, quick question. I did all the stuff in the iTerm that you did, but under my package JSON, it doesn't show anything. Like it shows the yarn Axios that I added, and that's it.
Wait, sorry, what? In your package JSON, what did, it shows nothing?
Yeah, just the yarn Axios that I added in, and that's it. It doesn't show all that other stuff that was there.
Yeah, so you didn't need to add Axios. And you also added Axios in your Rails directory. So you probably did this. You were probably in the facts 2021 and you did a yarn add Axios. So that's
Sure.
gonna, if you're in your Rails directory, that's gonna create a package.json in your Rails directory. And then it would add it, it would see it's not there and it would add it. But what you really needed to do is cd into client. And you don't need to add anything, you just need to run yarn. Because then that will look at the package JSON in the client folder and then run that. So the client, this is our React app. And as I was saying on Thursday, we really could have these be two separate apps. There's really no need for them to be combined, except for something like, you know, pushing the GitHub. Now I can push both of them up at the same time in the same repo. So that's one reason why we do combine them. Because if we didn't combine them, then you'd have to have two separate repos. But it would still work. Does that make sense?
Okay, yeah. So can I just delete the one package JSON that just has Axios in it then?
If you add, so what you would really want to do, and everyone's going to do this at some point, you're going to run yarn add in your Rails directory. And the reason, and what this does is now all of a sudden, by running that one command, I now have 54 changes in my Git. Because what it's done is it's created a node modules folder in my Rails application, which I don't want. I could add it to the git ignore to like not add it there, like, but I don't really want it there. So I could, what I'd want to do is remove it. So rm-r-rf node modules in my Rails directory. I do not want to remove the one in my client. So now that would be removed, I could, there's two other files I'm going to want to remove. I want to remove these two. It's not going to break anything if you have that there. It's not like you have to do this, but it's just kind of like having unnecessary files in there. So if I wanted to remove my package JSON, I could do an rm package JSON and rm yarn lock. Now, if I do my git status, now I'm back to the working state.
What does the RF stand for? Because you did it on the node modules, but you didn't on the other two.
This is like recursive force. So the package JSON and the yarn lock, these are files. So I just do the rm command. The node modules is a folder. So I need to do at least a -r. If you try to do rm on a folder, it's not going to work. It'll say this is a folder and not a file. So I do recursive, and then the -f, like, it's just like a little more hardcore and just says, hey, make sure to remove everything in this directory. So it's one you want to be a little careful with using. It's just going to destroy everything in that folder. It's going to, so. But you know, if you ran that in like your root directory, like rm-rf, I don't even want to type it. rm-rf and then backslash. Like that would be, don't do that.
So if you did the rm-rf package.json, that'd be fine because you're still just removing it's just recursive. So like extra.
That won't work because package JSON is a file. RF is saying, hey, you're deleting a folder. So you need the -r for like if it's a folder. You don't need anything if it's a file. So there's that. Another nice thing about this tool that you'll start to see, and just, this is why like the cleanliness of your code matters, and like it's kind of ultimate responsibility. But notice how this says like 4 days ago. Like when you have other GitHub contributors, it's going to say who made the change and when they made it. So if I'm working with a team, it'd be like Sally 2 days ago. So it's a very visual history of who has done what. So it's very much, there can be these weird times where like it looks like you did this, but how the commit happened, it really wasn't you who made the change. But it's going to be easy to tell, like if someone asks who made that change, you're not going to be able to like, be quiet and just not, hopefully it gets swept under the rug. It's like, nope, it's pretty easy to go in and see who actually did that. So, but yeah, this tool right here is like when you're working, once you really get into a project, this like Git history really can be just such a useful tool for debugging and like figuring out what you actually want to be doing. So just kind of like mess around with this and kind of like see what you can do with it. It's kind of powerful, but we'll get more into it. We'll definitely get a lot more into GitHub for your final project, but you'll get your real first taste of it on Saturday. So get some practice this week with GitHub, because GitHub can be like something that, slows people down or screws people up on the first hackathon. It's definitely been some kind of those horror stories. So, but also be understanding that for like, this is everyone's first hackathon. You're all kind of unfamiliar with GitHub, so mistakes happen. That's how you learn. At some point in your career, you're probably going to mess up GitHub and maybe overwrite someone's code or something, but it's not the end of the world. All right, so any questions on where we're at? Ooh, what time is it? I think this is a good time to take a break. Let's just come back at 10:25. Are there any questions, or if anyone's not set up to this point where they have it working, I can stick around and help out. Nothing? Okay. I'll see y'all in about 12 minutes.